I was thinking about this topic as I was compressing the last video. Why one would want to be in nature and not in a dense population center. And so in this video, I'm going to talk about some of the things somebody may learn. I say may, if they were to immerse themselves in nature and disconnect from some of the pleasures of the flesh, which one might find in a dense population center. One might feel a greater connection to the sun over there. See, because when the sun goes down, it gets cold, real cold. But when it comes up, you might wake up because you can feel it. You can even if the windows are closed, you can feel the rise of the sun. You can hear things you haven't heard before, maybe birds chirping. You might even be more open to the idea of sunspots and sun cycles and their links to changes in human behavior. And there's a lot of documented studies on that. One who immerses himself in nature might have a greater appreciation for what nature provides, as opposed to live in the city where you just turn something on and you get that heat when you cut up your firewood, and you go through the experience of having no money yet being able to get just enough money, just enough comes in that you can get some firewood, or you might take the blessings from nature and eliminate the middleman. Maybe you might go to the river instead of being on Facebook or something, and get some wood in case you need a backup or something like that. These are things one may learn in nature. One who's a power lifter or a weightlifter may learn that you can also work out with rocks, and it's actually been done for thousands of years. I have yet to really bring in the boulder workout, but I'm a little tardy on doing my next set of pull-ups. One might realize in nature that it's really tasty to use a hibachi, and take some meat, marinate in teriyaki, maybe cut some garlic, some ginger, some onions, maybe put a little soy sauce, maybe some sesame oil. I don't know. These are just conspiracy theories. One might really appreciate the taste of that and the time and effort it took towards cultivating that fire, just like the fire inside that keeps one warm, thanks to nature. One might develop an appreciation for nature and the earth itself. One might may feel a connection to the goddess energy, Mother Earth, and also the Father. That this heaven earth connection. They may take more time for meditation and ground themselves, really feel their Earth's energy, and also bring in that cosmic energy. Many meditations focus on things like that, and it seems like you can feel more of that out in nature. One who goes out in nature may find out there's a lot of mountains on this planet in certain areas. They have very interesting histories, and they can look into what the Indians thought about the spirits of some of these mountains and some of the ways to pay respect for it. In nature, one may start to develop an understanding of at night how to identify north by the North Star, by finding the Big Dipper, which I usually can see over in this direction. One might, over time, if they have some sort of blueprint or something to kind of show them what's going on, they might understand where certain planets are positioned. I'm not there yet, but it's easier to see when there's less light pollution, and less distractions that one might find in the grid. One who immerses themselves in nature may connect with their own higher nature to take back to the city and evolve their own lives to the next level. So it's like a cleansing. Like, we don't stay in the shower the whole time, but it is part of hygiene to clean ourselves. Well, going out in nature can sometimes clean one's aura, clean one's energy, clear one's thoughts, clear one's space from the energy of others, especially if you're living without a strong internet connection, which I'm pretty much without a strong internet connection. But, I was watching Jeremiah Johnson, a very well-known Hollywood film, which is about a guy who goes up, I think, in the Colorado mountains about 150, 200 years ago, and has his encounters with the Indians. I think about 150 years ago. It's about the time they started to come through here and push people out. But he was immersed in nature, and through that, he developed an appreciation for the natives that he traded with. So it's like another versions of Dances with Wolves. By being taken out of his own culture, Jeremiah Johnson and of course, John Dunbar from Dances with Wolves, they start to understand something about the spiritual order of things that they did not before. For example, in Jeremiah Johnson, um, he remember being told by the Indians, and I think that you don't need to be told by an Indian. You can come out straight out here and have the intent to connect with Source and the truth and the teachings. And if you seek the truth, it shall find you. Um, he remember being told by these Indians to not cross this one particular burial ground, and he ended up taking the whites to the burial ground instead of going with his higher intuition, which you can see in his face in the movie. There's intuition. He has this knowing he shouldn't do that, and he does it. He takes them on this path because they don't know how to get to where they're going. He's going to be their pathfinder, their scout, and really bad things happened after that. Came back, and his Indian bride and his adopted son were both murdered by other Indians. So maybe the dark forces worked through those Indians and caused that karmic effect to happen instantaneously because of the wrong that he had committed. So maybe certain information or teachings that are of the spiritual realm might come to someone a little might come easier than if you're distracted by all of these things and things that you enjoy, things that you might take for granted, and the pleasures of the flesh. I think we have a higher self and a lower self. Even in cartoons, you could see the devil and the angel talking to Daffy Duck, but it's truly your higher and your lower selves. And there are things that we appreciate in the body, whether it be sex or pizza or entertainment or what else do people like that? Because I understand some of those concepts, but like football games and media and being able to play Call of Duty for hours and hours. There's one anonymous person that I know that plays Call of Duty quite a bit with the use of his solar power. But it's all in how we choose to use that energy, and that's an example of how one can use the energy of this for the sun to simulate blowing up things. But we can also use the energy of the sun for a YouTube video, like I've done today, and using that the solar panel unit, which brings me to my next topic. Using that to pretty much charge this and the Wi-Fi adapter that I got to drive 3 miles that way. So I have appreciation. One might have an appreciation for those moments that they do get on Facebook and connect with their friends. It's no longer a drug that you get to take and take and take and take and get on anytime you want at work. It's because Facebook is a very wonderful tool, despite some of the negative aspects of it becoming something that turns people into robots, replacing human relationships, which is somewhat of an epidemic that goes with Facebook and people that call themselves truthers that live within that medium because it feels more comfortable to do so. And I'm not coming from a state of judgment, but this is a state of truth. It is a tool to be used. One may have a greater appreciation for Facebook and those moments that we do get on, and those special messages that we send to our loved ones. It's no longer superficial. It's no longer a cure for boredom. It's connecting with people that we love, and that's what I use it for. Oh, I got to wrap this up because we're running out of time. There's so many things you can learn from nature. You can learn that there's layers upon layers upon layers of new things you can learn about yourself. What I've learned from being out here in nature is that through synchronicity, which you also learn from taking chances and having a faith in a creator and something greater than the darkest forces on earth, through synchronicity, I got all that for $15, believe it or not. Believe it or not, he had some extra solar panels, and so I can get a good charge from that, just enough to use this, but not more. Kind of like when money comes in, just enough, but not anymore. Nothing to spoil me. You can learn that there are people that are in the survival business, and I want to mention names, but I shouldn't mention names. That say you can't do it. You can't live off solar. It's not realistic. You're dumb. And so you can learn a lot of different things from going out and doing it yourself. Now, one thing that it's getting a little dark in here, but that's because I have to recharge the battery. More appreciation for the power of the sun. Let's go ahead and plug that in. Okay. One might also learn from nature that it seems to be a virus of the mind that exists in a lot of humans. And it's this word that comes through. It's can't. It's can't. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't survive the cold. And what you may realize, what you may learn from immersing yourself in nature, is that some of these people don't know your strengths. And some of the feedback you get from others just keeps you in a space that keeps you gravitating back to the grid and back to dependency. You might learn that some of these people have never gone without the fear of living without money. Now, as a result of what I've done, some people sometimes insinuate that I'm trying to feed off people or take people's money, or they never call me anyone that's they never call me a misleader or a misdirector, but they insinuate that maybe I don't have the value they thought by taking these chances. Maybe I'm a lost soul. Maybe I'm a runaway. And the truth is, there are certain things that have been very challenging in my life that I've spent lots of time talking about in the past. And in the point of observation of looking at the positive, by going out and overcoming challenges, overcoming fears, overcoming false information you may get from others, and being in your own information and trusting something higher than man or woman. Trusting something higher, trusting spirit, the spirit within, and connecting that spirit within to the true God above, the true creator, way above all these things people think is God, which is just a whole other conversation. You might realize when you go into nature, one may learn that there is a resistance to spiritual concepts and teachings and the ideas of synchronicity when you share this with people that are stuck in an old belief system, that are afraid of leaving the grid, that have never overridden the virus within the matrix that says one can't. You know, there are so many legends throughout human history of mankind, humans doing what could be perceived to be the supernatural, from a woman lifting her car to prevent her child from being crushed, to a man taking on 20, 30, 40 humans because he has that fighting ability, and that's best when that's used only for good, not for recreation or to build up one's ego. In a future video, I will talk about the mindful martial artist and warrior that does exist in many of us, many men and women, but we live in a world, of course, where we see the polluted, dark, draconian, Babylonian reincarnation of the Roman field of death. Not a mindful way to use one's energy. So one might learn through going into nature about a wide variety of things they can do, their connection to source, their own spirit. They can learn that they can live without certain things and without certain people. And in the end, when they go back, it's a beautiful thing. Because they're able to navigate easier through what is at times a very frustrating experience. Life in the city, you can absorb yourself in the energy and just become what is in going on in that city and the spirits that exist in that city and things going on in that city. Or you can become your own conduit of light where you transmute, transfuse, turn into something what was dark into something positive because you have that creative spark. I could go on. This could be a multi series program on just what one could. I didn't even get into survival skills or fishing or hunting or gardening. Your connection to the earth and the appreciation for the soil that brings you that food that you eat that keeps your body alive. You know, you can read about Tibetan monks that have meditated in the snow through the use of their own energy and willpower. So have an open mind. Things are not as they seem. I have more abilities than I thought, and I haven't really begun to build anything, but I have aspirations to learn how to build certain things. You know, like a bicycle with a motor attached to an alternator, generator. You can do all of that and more. So I'm just one person doing this for my own spiritual evolution, and I choose to share it on YouTube and continue to encourage people to take similar chances on life, because it could change your life and your perspective on what's possible forever, which of course would empower you and help you see the truth about the spiritual forces that exist and are there at your disposal.